From the Ugly Parrot Studios in Newcastle, California, the Loomis Cigar Cartel presents Beyond the Humidor, a cigar podcast for the rest of us. Hey, sorry about that. I've got the remnants of this cold still coming at me. Hey, Scott Robinson back with you for another edition of Beyond the Humidor. I'm just going to warn everybody right now, if you are easily triggered, can't see how you made it through 90-some episodes, but you might not want to listen to this one.
Maybe not.
Yeah, probably not. But anyway, I'm with the usual group, so let's just start it off with the Gorilla. What's happening, Gorilla?
I'll also add, if you have a fear of the ocean or small spaces, you may want to avoid this episode.
Yes, Mr. Robinson spits his pale ale.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I knew something was coming, but it
Is the computer okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I got Apple Care. Fuck it. Too bad that sub didn't. Never mind. Sorry.
And Mark, 30 seconds in.
Oh, there we go.
Fuck you, we're closed. See, Sam doesn't have to be here for us to go completely sideways.
Yeah, pretty much. So anyway, how you doing there, Gorilla?
I'm doing all right. A buddy of mine is in town from the flyover states, so I got to see him in person for the first time in a while, so that was nice. We'll be getting a review of the Hogback Enigma from him at some point. That was his birthday gift.
Right on, right on.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Other than that, good.
Good. Hey, Greg, how's it going, man?
It goes.
I understand.
Some news from home that wasn't good, but it goes. I'm here. We had a good time over the weekend. Scott took his first trip to Potato Land.
Yeah.
And we had some good cigars, you know. So, yeah.
Love it. Hey, Lawrence, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Just sitting back with a nice cigar, waiting to see how this shit show unfolds.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's just start it off. Let's just start with cigars first. What are you smoking, my man?
I have a Island Jim Connecticut number 2. Second round to release in the Island Jim series here. Very light, creamy draw on this, which, if you're familiar with Island Jim stuff at all, always a supremely well constructed cigar. Never have had any issues with one of these at all. Little bit of a disclaimer here, I guess. Looking up this cigar, they say that the wrapper is Honduran, Connecticut, but they have not disclosed the binder or filler. So
Sneaky.
We don't know what's going on with that, but very nice Connecticut so far. I just got this thing lit up, and like I said, super smooth and creamy. Great morning coffee cigar. And also trying it, we're pairing up our alcohols today. We got some Sierra Nevada Pale Ale for the beer side, and then we just cracked open a bottle of Heaven's Door straight rye whiskey. And I met the regional distributor, I guess, Northern California, on-premises district manager. That's a hell of a deal there. A fellow named Saul, met him a couple of weeks ago at a golf tournament, tried this out, was able to procure a bottle of this and a bottle of their straight bourbon, which we hit pretty hard.
Oh, yeah.
And fairly impressed with both of them. It's a really good product, and I'm going to reach out and try to get Saul on a future episode.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Just one hit of this, man. It was just so smooth. I was expecting like a harsh ending to it. Got that little bit of taste of honey, then caramel, and then it's just like, okay, it's time to go down. And fantastic.
Yeah, no burn,
no.
Some of the ryes that I've tried, and I typically like rye whiskeys, but every once in a while you get one that's just rough, and I don't know if that's kind of a tendency towards that type of whiskey or not.
Yeah,
but it's
sometimes.
just that's not my go-to, you know?
Yes, sometimes when it goes down, it just goes flat.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Greg? What you smoking, man?
Well, let me just chime in on the whiskey. Even I liked it. So you have my approval.
Oh, well, God bless you.
I know.
Oh, goody.
So, it's one of those things where you get into the what do I want to smoke today? So I ended in the Apostate Deseret, our good friend Brian and Kendrick from over at Apostate Cigars, and the Beehive in Salt Lake City. It's a great stick. It's a Mexican San Andreas Maduro with Ecuadorian Connecticut stripes, Cuban and Dominican Pilado binder, and Dominican Republic and Nicaraguan filler. It's we've talked about these on several different shows. It's one of the best sticks out there as far as I'm concerned. It's in my top 5 go-to, and if your brick and mortar's not carrying it, I suggest you start badgering people to get it.
All right. Now, I'm smoking a Padron Aniversario 1964, the A.
Good stick.
Really good stick. When you look on a Padron website to find out what the tobacco is, and help me out here, because I really don't know. I just know I like Padrons ever so often.
I have to look it up.
They
I
are
was
good.
not prepared.
Hey, no. I'm looking it up, and it's nowhere to be found.
Oh, we can find it.
But no.
Continue on. I'll be there with you in a
No,
minute.
really good stuff on the Padrones. I mean, you're paying like a upper price point for it, but to me, it's really worth it. One of the other Padrones that I like to go to is the Damaso. This came out of, I think I bought this 2 years ago out of a 3-pack over at Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival. And I was just like, I just started picking up shit like, ooh, look, something different, a 3-pack. It must be special. And sure enough, I did. So I cracked that box open today, whipped out this A, said, oh, this will be a fun smoke.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Oh, yeah.
They don't specify very much, even on
Oh.
a well-known cigar purchasing website, other than it comes in, sun-grown, natural, or dark Maduro.
What is the flavor profile there? Say, because it looks all the way over to the
Profile
right.
looks like it's full. Oh,
Really?
wrapper is Nicaraguan, origin
there you go.
Nicaragua, but that's more details. Hang on a minute here.
Okay.
Binder, it's Nicaraguan wrapper, binder, and filler.
Yeah, the reason why I love it. Nicaraguan is my go-to leaf, so
However,
fantastic.
The one thing I will argue with you, not you, but I will argue with this particular website of well-known to most people, no one saw that, is that they say it's full-bodied. I completely disagree.
I was about to tell
The
you
Maduro might be that way, but the natural's not.
No, this
No,
is
that's
not
a
full body.
mild to medium at best.
Yeah,
Which is fine because it's still a great stick.
absolutely.
But yeah, if you're purchasing one of those thinking you're getting a full-bodied cigar, you're missing the boat there.
No. And I'm envious of Gorilla because Gorilla is smoking a little something that I experienced over the weekend. So talk to me, Gorilla. What are you
So
smoking
Greg
there?
gave me a Maestro del Tiempo, or Master of Time, for those of you that speak English,
Simone.
from Warped. So far, so good. I'm a little bit into it. It's a little peppery, but not so much that I can't. I don't like super peppery cigars. I looked it up. It's all Nicaraguan all the way through, but it's not so peppery that I can't smoke it, because
Right.
I've run into 1 or 2 Nicaraguans that are just so heavy on the pepper that I don't enjoy smoking them because it feels like heartburn to me. But this one's good so far, and I'll have more for you later.
All right. That is the first cigar I smoked when Greg and I went to Idaho over the weekend. And I decided to get over there and just try some boutique cigars. The vault over in Meridian has some fantastic humidor selection. Lots of stuff that I've never smoked before. The first thing I gravitated towards was that Warped. Greg said it's fantastic group and grabbed that one in particular. I was not disappointed.
No, and you managed to get out of a Corona. You
2
got 2
hours.
hours out of that Corona.
Oh, yeah. I had to wait. Well, on Friday, I had to wait about an hour until Michelle was the bartender, right?
Michelle was the bartender.
Oh,
he
Michelle.
suffered, Larry. He suffered terribly.
What?
Michelle, you are doing the Lord's work. She made me a Caparena with a Grand Marnier float. Ooh. So good. I had about 4 of those.
3.
3? Okay.
3, and then 1 or 2 on Saturday.
Yeah, 2 on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those were okay, but Michelle, she's got it locked down.
But, that's the thing about Josh's Humidor, and everybody knows we talked to him 2 episodes back. He finds the most unique, special lines and brings them into the vault, and it shows because, you know, it was a little light, but the normal, but that's because the tax is going into effect where their tax rate gets cut to 50 cents a cigar.
Right. I'm probably going to have you, when you go back in about a month, pick up a box
Of
those.
the warped, yeah,
Yes.
I can certainly do that.
Yeah, those warped are good.
I don't mind being a cigar mule,
Love it.
but yeah, you know, what was your overall impression? Because I know the listeners have heard me prattle on about the vault. And we can actually talk about Eagle now because we went to that one too. But
Yeah.
they've heard me prattle on. So, you know, what's your take? Your turn now.
You know what? I liked Idaho. Friendly people, nice surroundings. I mean, where our friend Tommy is, it's about 40 minutes or so to get into town, if
Anywhere.
you will. Yeah, anywhere. But no, it's cool. You know, over at Tommy's place, you could just sit back, relax, and enjoy the silence, but you still have access to civilization.
Yep.
40 some odd minutes or so.
Right.
But my problem,
Less than that if you like small towns. But
yeah, my problem is, excuse me, I lived in civilization for so long. Here's the problem. I don't go to the store and buy shit like every 2 weeks. It's kind of like I get real loose about it. So it's like, yeah, your freaking store. It's what, 7 minutes away from me. So
Correct.
It's like I show up, go shopping, grab some shit, go home. Next day, fuck, forgot potatoes. No big deal. Hop on a motorcycle, hop in a car, roll over 7 minutes. I ain't doing that shit over in Idaho. Unless
Well-
I live in Idaho, you know,
Well-
Meridian proper.
yes and no. What you didn't see because we never get there is Parma's about 15 minutes drive from where Tommy lives. And there's a full Albertsons up there. There's M&W Market. Could you do the normal lifestyle you're used to? No. But you can pop out and get stuff. It's just a little bit more time. But he enjoys that lifestyle. That's
Yeah.
what he had when he was here.
Right.
So, you know, and I talked to him today, by the way.
Cool. How's he doing?
So, as I don't know if the listeners know this or not, but Tommy,
Excuse me.
Tommy has a very long-winded form of cancer. It's in the early stages. It was caught early. It will be curable. He started chemotherapy last week, and of course, we were there over the weekend. And he started his radiation today. And he's doing okay. It's a bit painful, a bit tender, but I can imagine it would be
Yeah.
until the body gets used to what's happening to it, and then he should be good. But in another
good to hear.
34 rounds of radiation, 6 more rounds of chemo, and with any luck, a clear
Jesus Christ.
diagnosis. And you know, we feel for you, man.
All right. Yeah,
And
we
we're
love
thinking
you,
about
man.
you.
We're thinking about you.
As Gorilla's looking at that puzzled look on his face.
I was gonna say we could blow smoke up to him, but he didn't. He's not dead.
He's
So
not dead.
I
Yeah, calm down.
I almost said it, and it would have been real awkward.
He's not dead.
I love you, Tom.
Yet.
As opposed to this isn't real awkward.
I was gonna get away with it, but then Scott had to comment. It's like I can't not say what that look was.
Fortunately, he has a good sense of humor. He'll laugh with us.
Jesus. Well, as we were talking about the subject of cigars, profiles, and such, question, and I don't know if we've asked this on the podcast before or not, the whole idea of cigar diaries, because a couple of years ago, you were gracious enough to give us each for Rocky Mountain a book.
Which
Just
no doubt none of you have used.
Oh, I've used it, but I've used it for different things.
Oh, you must use it for work.
No. It's like,
Little black book?
no. Like like a Richard Nixon's enemies list and shit.
Oh, fuck. I'm probably number 1 on that list.
4. But
4? I'll take it.
So it's the Regina George bitch book. Okay, got it.
Fucking gorilla, man. Hitting the threes from way outside.
Oh, no, I want to hear you guys' opinions because personally, for me, I tried. I truly did. I tried to. I made an effort. Sit down with my cigar. Smoke it a little. Take the band, smush it onto the page, and write notes of my impressions of the cigar. Personally, I felt like a douchey sommelier or sommelier, whatever that's pronounced.
Samoan?
Sommelier.
Sommelier. Of course, you know you're proper bitch.
This from the bougie fuck.
But no, for me, smoking a cigar, the experience of smoking the cigar, I don't want to sit here having to write shit down. It's like tasting the notes going, it is lemon, banana,
and raccoon.
It is of a Nicaraguan varietal. The filler comes from that region. I can't do it, man. I just can't. I mean, hey, rock on if folks out there can do that shit. I just can't. I mean, my mind just, goes at such a rate where it's just like I'll start getting distracted. Larry can identify with this. I'm sitting there writing something. It's like, ooh, look, squirrel.
Well, I know people that are that detailed as you just described. Sam would probably be one of them based on last week's interview. That being said, I do actually use it. I do not go into that insanity of detail like you just described. I usually will write down what the cigar is, who it's from, who I got it from, or where I got it from, and then wrapper, binder, filler, and then I might make a few notes here on first third, second third, last third, and then general, am I going to buy this or not? And the only reason I do it is because smoking 12 years ago, there are so many cigars that I have had that have been discontinued, disappeared, no longer in production, whatever reason, or are out in production now that I've freaking forgotten about, that I wanted to be able to remember what I've smoked and be able to go back because, Larry remembers, go back 15 years ago when in the lounge when you had all those different fuegos that I can't remember anymore. And I'd love to be able to do that. So that's why I started using it. Not so much to pick out flavors on my palate, because I'll be the first one to tell you, to quote Larry, what does it taste like? Tobacco. Get all these fancy flavors I don't get.
And the initial idea in itself was a good one, but what Gregory failed to understand was he's giving a notebook to somebody, namely me, that can't read, write, or spell. So basically, and I started out, I did, like Scott, but it basically turned into one of those cartoon flip books, and I am functionally illiterate when it comes to reading, writing. This is as good as it gets. So you'd have been better off giving me a pocket recorder so I could go, yeah, this is a Nicaraguan. It's got a pink label. Yeah, because that's about, I think I got like 10 entries in the book, and I was just like, yeah.
Now, you did better than me. I didn't even get one.
Now, here's one for you.
I may not have 10. I'm throwing a number out
If you
there.
got 2, you're color yourself a winner.
Let me put it this way. Here it comes. Tommy did it to the extreme. The first one was black, the first book. Tommy filled in the first book and asked me for another one because he ran out of space for the original Rocky Mountain trip for 2021. Unfortunately, they've been mislaid, but he started working on the 2022 one that you guys didn't get because you didn't use them. So, and he started using that one. And once he finds it again, but that is one I can literally go back and say, "Hey, Tommy, I just pulled this out of my bag." He goes, "Hang on a minute. Yep, I smoked that one. This is what I thought. This is what I get." So, that is one he really uses it for.
Yeah,
that
that's
purpose.
a motherfucker with an abundance of time.
Yeah, it's called retired.
I wish I could be that diligent in every aspect of in any aspect of my life. It's just, once again, the struggles of ADD are real, and I appreciate the gesture. It was what the fuck? Who's calling you on Facebook?
Guess who?
Oh shit, it's Tommy. He knows, man. You're live on the air with Beyond the Humidor.
Mork calling Austin. Come in, Austin.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fabulous idea, and
Fabulous, you say.
Fabulous. I wish it was, more suited to my capabilities, but alas, it is not. So I do not partake.
I think Sam and Tommy highlight that it works for a certain type of person.
Oh no,
Yeah.
absolutely.
100%.
And
That's the truth.
On stuff like this, I wish I was that type of person.
Now,
Sort of.
I'm similar in your boat as far as the reading, writing, being able to focus on keeping those notes in order.
Yeah, I've seen
But-
your handwriting.
But I've thought about doing it simply because I think that for some people, namely me, there's like a time to do it that I think would be beneficial. And I've been thinking of doing it because since I've been helping you guys with the podcast and being part of the podcast, I have not more knowledge, but more access to cigars that aren't kind of like you guys. When you go to Idaho, you bring me stuff that isn't at TR.
Yeah.
We went down to
Stogies.
So my cigar bubble is starting to expand, and I know enough terms to be dangerous, but not enough to.
Well,
I don't know
You'd
what
be
I
surprised.
like.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure what I know generally that Rocky Patel, that Oscar, that thing I like, but I would like to get a better sense of kind of like what Greg said. He doesn't go into like extreme, I taste mandarin leaves and,
Meerkat droppings.
Yeah, exactly.
The fuck are you smoking?
Ever had Kopi Luwak?
The good shit.
yeah.
But I would like to maybe for like a year, keep track of what I smoke and see, okay, I tend to like this wrapper binder filler combination. I tend to like.
Well, yeah, and it allows you to put information together. The thing where I think it would be beneficial at the stage all of us are in right now, just like you said, Anthony, is because of our travels and the exposure that the podcast is starting to get, we are finding smaller batch cigars that 10 years ago we wouldn't have typically smoked.
Or even looked at.
And fast forward a few years from now, I would like to road trip more and do some minor cross-country trips. And if I stop in a cigar shop somewhere, I would like the ability to say, hey, here's what I know I like. What do you have that fits that? As opposed to me going shelf by shelf in their humidor going, I don't recognize that one. I don't recognize that one. I don't recognize that one. Oh, here's one I kind of recognize. I'll grab. You know what I mean? I would like. It feels like I have like a bulletin board of a bunch of Post-it notes of information about what I like and cigars in general. And I think doing a notebook for even a little bit of time, even a dozen entries or so, would help me kind of
narrow that focus.
Take that and organize it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like for example, this happened to me the other night. I tried to smoke that nub you gave me, and one of the ones that you offered me from your big bag, it was the little red and gold label Olive Yeah. I got maybe a quarter inch into both those. I'm like, these are so not in my wheelhouse. And the thing that made me think maybe I should start taking notes is I couldn't nail down why. And that kind of bugged me, like, I'm going to forget that I don't like this in 6 months, get one, and be like, well, fuck. So,
well, and
Note
then
to self,
if you're
make one for Gorilla.
if you're keeping notes like that, then you can start pairing up the stuff. If you find you got 2 or 3 things, in the last 6 months that weren't in your wheelhouse, then you look at those and go, okay, what do these have in common? Maybe it's the binder, filler. Maybe it's, the wrapper leaf, whatever. And then it'll help you kind of steer your boat in a direction where you're going to be, happier with your choices.
Yeah.
I really think though that's the gravitational pull to doing something like that is it makes you more aware of what you're smoking and what you like and what you don't. And that was my whole thing, because for the longest time in the beginning of my smoking journey, it was, oh, there's a Connecticut, I'm going to smoke that. Oh, there's another Connecticut, I'm going to smoke that. What's a Connecticut? And I wouldn't branch out. Now I walk into a humidor and go, seen that. What? Haven't seen this.
Well, yeah.
And off I go.
You've smoked enough cigars to the point where, and no disrespect for brands I'm naming, I'm just saying, Rocky Patel, in certain places you can find it all over the place. Okay, I've been there, done that. Down in Florida, Padron. Fuck every goddamn.
You mean Perdomo?
Perdomo, thank you. Excuse me. Perdomo. Every goddamn cigar place I went to, it was just Perdomo City, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because I do enjoy Perdomo.
Yeah, regionally, you're going to get different things, different places. And, Greg's a good example of how cigars evolve over the years. And we've talked about this a bunch with Maduros. being rolled for flavor as opposed for power now, where Greg is he will not shy away from at least trying certain Maduros, where at the beginning of his cigar journey, his palate probably wasn't set up for a Maduro yet, and B, Maduros were more power than they were flavor 10, 12 years ago.
Absolutely.
So it gives you kind of an idea of, where your tastes are evolving, where the cigars that you've found that you liked are kind of generally heading. And I mean, I think it's a great thing. I wish I was more diligent and disciplined to be able to do stuff like that. I have to kind of rely on my memory, which, at this age is not really good.
Well, like that one I brought back for you that I thought was hilarious. Anyway, the Pandemonium by Asylum. Not to mention, is it? You can mute the tablet if you want.
It's fun. It's fun to see Tommy keep calling.
But now that was a butt dial. I can tell you right there, because he did that to me earlier today. But
Tommy, we love you.
But I would have never looked at, let alone that large ring gauge like the one I bought for you, and then the one I got for myself. But I would have never looked at a cigar with that flavor profile, because based on its appearance, I'm looking at that going, not a chance in hell. This is a full-bodied, it's going to kick my ass. Looking here on the web, the interweb says it's a medium, which, given most of the Asylums I've smoked, I tend to agree with that. But
yeah, even if it's a medium to full, at that ring gauge, if you put a nice big straight cut on that, or a nice size punch, you're going to get a ton of airflow, a ton of smoke through that, and you're going to end up with a great smoke.
yeah.
That's one of the things that kind of pushed me towards the giant ring gauge cigars to begin with, is when I first started smoking those, a guy that was hanging around had a punch that was designed for those 80 ring gauge. So you would punch that thing and you got a punch hole about the size of a dime. So you're drawing a just incredible amount of smoke through that thing, which is what I like to begin with, regardless of the ring gauge of the cigar.
Right.
So that was just kind of made it extra for me. That took it up. Oh, this is great. Because you're smoking a decent cigar to start with, where you're getting good tobacco, and good flavor there, and then you're doubling up, in my opinion, with the smoke volume you're getting. So that just increases the enjoyment for me right off the bat.
Right.
Well, it's funny when you talk smoke volume, and some people think that's a superficial thing, but I don't care if it's Connecticut, Corojo, Maduro. I really gravitate towards those cigars that provide a huge smoke volume.
Well,
Right.
and that's one of the reasons I go back to these Island Gems. These are one of my go-tos,
Right.
Because even at this size, the amount of smoke that you get through this cigar is just incredible.
Yeah.
And that, to me, and I know I'm beating a dead horse, I say this all the time, to me that's as important as the flavor, because I enjoy being able to draw that smoke in without having to fight it.
Right.
And some of them, some cigars you come across you have to fight, but I prefer not to.
Well, yeah, that's all about cigar construction, and then the occasional plug. I think one of the guys over in Meridian, they had a plug, or was it you?
I did. I got a beautiful Lancero. And before I go into this short story here, first of all, this is a handmade product. Occasionally, a roller has a bad day.
Of course.
A twist goes wrong. This happens.
Right.
But I tried a new cigar also from the Warped line called El Oso, the bear. The flavor was great. And my dumbass, let me say that again, my dumbass did
Say
not.
it one more time.
My dumbass did not get a draw poker because the twist was right up by the top of the cigar. I should have got a draw poker and freaking broke the twist earlier, but instead I was a stubborn jackass and fought the damn thing for 3/4 of the cigar. It ruined the cigar's experience. When I go back again, I will try it again because I don't think that's fair. That I'm like, I want to taste the cigar like it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's a warped product. Everything I've smoked out of warp has been absolutely stellar, from the Master of Time that Anthony's got to the Devil's Hand that I smoked on the way home. You know, the warped, the Hesperia, there's like...
I've had that Devil's Hand. That's a good cigar.
It's a great stick. And there's so many warped lines that we don't see because, unfortunately for us, we live in California. But, you know...
Well, because we live in California, because the reps aren't out here for one reason or another.
I'm blaming the state.
Yeah, stop crying.
They're a good scapegoat.
Yeah, whatever. But no, I mean, seriously, it's like Warp is one of those, and if anybody out there who works for Warp, represents Warp, please come out to the Golden State, because your cigars will fly off the shelves.
Yes.
I mean, that was just such a magnificent smoke and a great introductory to Josh's spot at the Volt and Meridian.
Yep. And he'll be hanging up one of our signs.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
That's always good. Hey, I want to give some love to Cigars LTD. They hung up one of our signs out in Fresno, California.
Hey, there we go.
That's the main one over at Pavilions, in the Pavilion Shopping Center. So that's the big one. Beautiful place, great smokes. I can get my Attabays and Byrons from them, which I did on my travels back in April.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, great place to smoke. So if you happen to be in Central California, drop by. Tell them Beyond the Humidor sent you.
Awesome. Hey, as long as we're throwing shout-outs, man, local shout-out here for us. Newer brewery here in the area. Been open a couple months. Just tried it yesterday afternoon, evening. Granite Bay Brewing Company, Auburn, Folsom, and Douglas in Granite Bay. They got about 7 handles, I think, on right now, including a seltzer. They've got a porter, hazy. So have a food truck there Friday, Saturday, Sundays. Live music on Friday and Saturdays. Really, really clean, nice place. Good vibe. It was pretty busy when we were in there yesterday. So if you're up in the in the Sac area, give them a try.
Where is that, by the way?
Auburn, Folsom, and Douglas. So it's all the way out Douglas Boulevard to Folsom Lake.
Yeah.
And when you cross Auburn, Folsom, it's on the right-hand side up there next to Susie's Country Kitchen.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, it was a good time. We had fun.
We have to make our way over there.
Yep.
That's good stuff.
So Scott and Greg did the Idaho
Yeah.
trip this last weekend. 4th of July's coming, which I typically close down for and head out for a few days. This year we will be going to Newport, Oregon, which it's been 13 years since I've been up in that part of Oregon. So Rogue Brewing Company's up there. Jesus. The
low-flying aircraft.
Yeah, the hassles of recording at the Ugly Parrot Studios. Depot Bay is just up the road, so we're going to go up and hang out for a few days on the coast and see what we can find for cigars and craft beers and stuff like that. So we'll be reporting back on the next episode.
Nice. The funny thing is, and I was telling you before the recording, Tiny Wife is trying to find a spot that we can take the RV to, but of course we're last minute. We didn't think about this until a week or two before the 4th. So we're looking for spots. It's like, oh, that won't work. And one spot was like $190 a night.
No babysitting this time. Take your dog with you.
Well, the dog is going with us.
Okay, good. Hey,
if we go, which we probably won't, which means Daddy is barbecuing.
I'll be there.
Stop it, you savage.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be there.
Yeah, because you know what? Here's a funny thing. Just an off topic real quickly. I noticed pork belly is cheaper now.
Yes.
I mean, it was damn near $30, a year or so ago. Now pork belly's down to like 15 or some odd at Costco, and I'm like,
Right now, the supply is, because of the false pandemic we had for several years and the supply chain bullshit, pork's now sliding back into normality, and now beef's going the way of getting expensive again. But that's your farm report for the day. I want to add, too, before we jump into the other topic of dubious nature here, the three of us will not be attending PCA this year. So if you are looking forward to our hilarious coverage like we did last year, particularly Larry's interview with Cigar, may I recommend that you guys follow along with How About That Cigar? They're our good friends out of Minnesota, and Matt and Jarrett are going to... Matt and...
Garrett.
No, not Garrett. I'm sorry. Matt and one of the other fellas. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. Garrett's going to be busy working the Don Doroteo booth.
Gotcha.
So Matt and his other cohort will be doing their interviews. So since we're not going to be there, guys, take a minute and give them some love and check out their coverage of PCA.
Right
we
on.
will be there, though, for next year's show.
Yes. Which I believe is going to be in March,
It
isn't
is
it?
in March, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So we actually might need a jacket in Las Vegas.
Yeah, let's not get crazy. So we've been dragging our feet here.
One more thing, by the way. Guess where it's going to be after next year?
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Really?
Really?
Big Easy.
Yep.
Ooh. In March?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, I got to whip out my New Orleans calendar because here's the thing.
When's Mardi Gras?
Exactly. That's my point. If Fat Tuesday is shit, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm a recovering Catholic.
Fat Tuesday is the 40 days of Lent.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I'm just as a matter of when.
Hold on, we got the gorilla on his phone.
All right.
When's Mardi Gras, gorilla?
Keep vamp, and I'll let you. Now look where we are now. We're stuck.
So-
waiting for me to get the information.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You could have
man.
just kept talking.
Well, one of the other things we learned while we were up there is Josh is actually on the board.
Yeah.
Didn't know that either.
What?
Yeah, Josh is a board member at PCA.
Oh, no shit, huh?
Yeah, he also
We,
Feb 13th.
we probably should have been nicer to him then.
maybe he also writes an article for their magazine that they put out periodically, and the last one was pretty interesting. I'll send it to you guys so we can talk about it.
Okay.
No. For the record, Fat Tuesday is February 13th, 2024.
That puts Easter at the end of beginning of April then.
Yeah.
So we're probably not going through February, March, and April, but they'll figure it
I
out.
mean, I'd still go, but see,
No,
I
you want
prefer-
2025.
Oh, 25. Oh, my bad. Let's go ahead and find that out. Tuesday, March 4th.
Oh my.
They need to give some consideration to that. Okay, now, this is Scotty's travel advisory. If you want to experience Mardi Gras, but you hate like a fuck ton of people, like I do, like I said, I don't do huge crowds anymore. And when I say huge crowds, I'm talking like Sturgis. I have realized, because I got into motorcycle riding late, okay? I was in my 40s, okay? And, the whole dream was, I'm going to get my Harley, ride, get some experience, and I'm going to take my black ass to Sturgis because I hear Sturgis is awesome. Well, I'm at the point where Sturgis is fucking huge. You got this little town, and what was the last count?
40,000 people.
40,000. Bullshit.
I don't
It was
know.
way
There's a lot.
40?
Shit, it's damn near 1 million. I mean, someone out there correct me if I'm wrong, please, because I'm not going to even bother slowing the show down to look it up. But it's a fuck ton of people in a small space, because Sturgis is not that big, kids. Or like, think of New Year's Eve, any New Year's Eve in Times Square. I don't fuck with that. Likely, Mardi Gras on the big nights, I ain't fucking with that either. Okay? So if you want to get the experience of Mardi Gras, where you have the smaller crews, those are the cats who have their own floats and, roll down the street. The big Mardi Gras parade is on Canal Street, which is just outside the French Quarter. But some of these smaller crews, their floats are small enough, and they show up like Friday and Saturday night, and they can go through the French Quarter through those narrower streets. That's when you want to go, because you still get the experience of Mardi Gras, but you also get the experience of being in the French Quarter, stopping by some spots.
Drinking a few hurricanes.
Yeah, if you're into that sort of thing. No, if you're into that sort of thing, but I mean, there's drinks galore, so you can drink whatever the fuck you want.
I'm a fat guy. I'm going to eat.
Oh, yeah. Commander's Palace, Dookie Chase.
Beignets.
Oh, yeah, the beignets, and it escapes me the place where you go for beignets.
I don't remember.
I wasn't ready to speak on this, but, basically, the green and white tarps and umbrellas that are, beignets. Yeah, you got to do the beignets. Fantastic. Yep. I can still cook them from scratch.
I know. I've had yours. They're delicious.
Oh, yeah. Fabulous.
But then again, there's not much that you cook that I've never hated anything so far.
Thank you, kind sir.
But, you know what we forgot to talk about?
What's that now?
And Larry's eaten there. We now have eaten there. Let's talk for a minute about the Pig in Winnemucca, Nevada.
Oh, yeah. The Pig.
It was all right, huh?
It was all right.
Okay, so I decided against what I usually don't do, because even Tiny Wife, when I texted her and said, hey, we're over at a barbecue spot in Winnemucca, just down the street from when we were there, and we got, we refueled when we went to go rescue my father. And I said, yeah, it was about 3 or 4 blocks away from the gas station we stopped at, and it was a barbecue joint. And I got some ribs, and she said, well, I'm surprised you got ribs, because usually when you get ribs, you're disappointed. I said, yeah, but I want to give these a go, because I didn't really feel like a sandwich. I do next time want to try their brisket sandwich. You had their tri-tip, right?
I had the tri-tip sandwich, yes. But please, continue on the ribs. Yeah. I had the tri-tip.
So I had the ribs. And, I just wanted like a small rib platter. I didn't want to go nuts with a full rack or some shit. So they had a deal. It was like 3 or 4 ribs on the platter and onion rings. Now, I'm an onion ring connoisseur. Fuck that faggoty-ass panko breaded shit. I want beer batter, baby. I want the delicious beer batter. Why is he looking at me like that?
Hippo break.
No. I wasn't expecting us to get so passionate about batters and breadcrumbs.
Fuck panko. Beer batter is the way to go. And the beer batter has to be fried, not this fucked up ass air fryer bullshit that everybody's up on. So they bring my ribs, and I wanted some onion rings. I said, I'm going to take a risk. I'm not even going to ask questions. They show up, and sure enough, they're that smooth beer batter. Not that flaky ass shit. Not them damn dandruff onion rings. But then the test came with the ribs, of course. So these are probably, I would say, I call them competition style. They're not backyard. They're not falling off the bone. They're pork spare ribs cut St. Louis style.
They're not done like yours, definitely.
No. But then that's okay. So I bit into it, and I was like, okay, they got something going here.
And I believe you chose the hot honey?
The spicy honey.
Spicy honey.
The spicy honey. And put a little bit more onto it when it got there. Bit into it. Nice, tender. My only complaint, and it's a very small complaint, it sounds like it tasted like they're doing a dry rub. Little too much paprika, and that's just a guess. If anyone out there from the Pig wants to comment and say, no, this is what we're using, that's fine. Tell me
fall
I'm
for
wrong.
it. He's just trying to steal your recipe. Keep your secrets.
That's cute. But yeah, it was tasty. It was delightful. Even with the little too much paprika, it was delightful. I was like, okay, I can get behind this. I like this. I mean, it was just a very tasty meal. Mm-hmm. Good stuff, man. If you're out in Winnemucca, you got to go to the Pig.
And mine was, the tri-tip sandwich, thinly shaved tri-tip, tender, smooth. I went with the regular honey barbecue sauce, which was great. And the fries. Dude.
The curly fries.
Curly fries. Let's talk about a mountain of them. I mean, I left half of them because I couldn't eat them all.
Oh no, that's the thing, man. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm almost 300 pounds. Put a plate of food in front of me. If I look at the menu and the price don't scare me off, which it very rarely does, I'll spend money to eat. I want some food. Their wedge cut fries are amazing. Their curly fries are good. Their pulled pork sandwich is good. The brisket is good. It's a great stop, man.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, we saw it going up, and when we were coming back, it's like, hey, let's try this. Okay, so we hit. Now the only downside is, whichever direction you're going, you still have a hell of a drive after that.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, speaking of that.
So you throw 16 pounds of barbecue and about 3 beers in you, it's nap time. It ain't drive for 14 more hours. It's nap time. So
Okay, Greg warned me about the trip up to Idaho once you get into Winnemucca, because once you go beyond it over towards Oregon, Idaho, it is a 2-lane highway through a few of Boss Hogg's neighborhoods where if it says 45, your ass better be going 45 or you're going to get pulled over by local law enforcement.
Yeah, Buford T. Justice lives in Jordan Valley, Oregon.
Yeah, so it was an experience. I mean, the trip there is nothing. Well, it depends on who you are. There's either nothing to look at or you look at the Purple Mountain Majesty.
Yeah.
It's either one or the other. I just want to get to the fuck where I'm going. So for me, it's about I am savoring the landscape about as long as the theme, the Yellowstone. After the theme ends, I'm kind of done and want to get to where I'm fucking going.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and we did that going to and going back. And as a matter of fact, going back, we listened to one of Anthony Bourdain's books.
Yep, Medium Raw by Anthony Bourdain.
Oh, man. I listened to Kitchen Confidential some time back, and Medium Raw. Wow. If I feel bad for anybody, it would be for Anthony Bourdain. I wish, truly, in my heart of hearts, he'd have gotten the help he needed to get him out of that dark place he was in. Because, he's a magnificent storyteller, and his experiences and his upfrontness and his emotion and straightforwardness, too. He's one of the cats who I want to sit across from, smoking a cigar, drinking alcohol, telling me about food and his, chefs and cooks and all the shit he's been through. It's one of those things where you just sit and go, fucking wow. I can listen to you for hours, which we did.
Mm-hmm. 8.5 to be exact.
Well, yeah.
who'd win a cage match, him or Paula Dean?
Him. Definitely him.
My money's on Paula.
It was just wild, man, and it did make the time go by. So if you do that kind of long trip, if you don't know already, man, whip out an audio book.
And that's what I do. When I go by myself and I'm driving, it's a 4-cigar drive, and I start my audiobook and just roll down the road and enjoy the cigars. And, I've made the trip enough times where I'm in the same boat as Scott. I don't care about the scenery. I've seen it. I will look periodically for the what wildlife is on the side of the road, but other than that, let's go. Let's get to Idaho, get to the vault, and see all my friends and start smoking cigars.
Yep. All right. So, anything
now,
else?
The opinions going forward are wholly and solely Scott Robinson's and do not associate themselves anyway with the Beyond the Humidor podcast.
Wow.
Well, fuck you. Way to throw me under the bus, bitch.
So let me start this off.
Yeah, you started off, motherfucker.
It was a weekend that I not only I didn't rent my freaking apartment. I bought the damn apartment. I bought the flannel line pajamas soaked in gasoline. It is official. I am joining Scott in hell. Yes, this is true.
All right.
That being said, Mr. Robinson.
So, by now, everybody knows the faith of Heaven's Gate, Ocean's Gate submarine, if you can call it a fucking submarine. Them building it sounds like the prequel to the goddamn Towering Inferno. Okay. I don't even know where to start with this shit. Okay? Now, you got 5 adventurers. Now, this is controversial, but I'm going to fucking say it. I am happy of those 5. Well, I shouldn't say happy. I am not so sad that of those 5 who died was the idiotic CEO of fucking OCEANGATE. Like it or not, God damn it, I said it. And I'm going to tell you why I said it. Because I'm not just going to tell you shit and not say anything. But this ignorant motherfucker sat there and said in one of his interviews, hey, when I was looking to design this thing, I wasn't looking for people who've been in the sub industry for a long time, i.e. 50-year-old white men. I wanted people of vision and innovation to build this thing that we can go to the bottom of the goddamn sea to see the fucking Titanic, which was a victim of poor seamanship and a way of the rich. Quality. And a way of the rich fucking over the poor because they didn't want to put too many lifeboats on there because the shit would look unseemly. So it's already disgusting to me. This fucking moron decides to use carbon fiber as a part of his fucking sub. I'm no structural engineer and I'm no genius by any measure of the imagination. I graduated with a history degree from the University of California and a product of the Los Angeles Unified School District public school system. I'm not an idiot, but okay, carbon fiber. I just looked up on the internet, just happened to ask the question, hey, is carbon fiber a good idea to use on a submarine? It came back as a loud and resounding no, because you continue to use the fucking sub, it has cracks in it. And you will continue to get cracks into it until it finally fucking fails. Then let's talk about the inside of the submarine. Now, I'm sure I'm a Gen Xer, but I watched some of the stuff previous before that the boomers were into, i.e. Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, the Disneyland sub ride, you know, the Hunt for Red October, shit like that. And
you had a better chance taking that Disneyland sub to the Titanic.
And you would be fucking right. So let's talk about the inside of it. A GoPro camera. You had the transponder, which is on an independent battery. What else did you fucking have in there? You had a curtain and a makeshift toilet, so if you had to take a dump in this little tiny space, you could do it in privacy. Oh, and the curtain's a real big help when that fucking chili dinner from the night before comes out. Ooh, how much fun it is to sniff that. Ooh, I can't wait to get into that. It was the size of the goddamn Aerostar inside. You're not in any seats. You're not buckled in. Then they take 7mm or whatever, and correct me if I'm wrong, fucking bolts and bolt it from the goddamn outside. Ooh, goody. If you're rescued, what? Do you use a goddamn torch to cut you out? Oh, and then the titanium ring is fucking attached with goddamn epoxy. In the words of Richard Dreyfuss, this was no boating accident.
I've seen more structurally sound vehicles rolling up 80 to Burning Man.
5th graders doing a project to go under the sea. I would rely on going underwater than this piece of shit. But here's the topper to it. The motherfucker controls it with a goddamn Logitech game controller. It was so goddamn bad that when this shit went south, Logitech is sitting there going, oh God, no, this is not what it was designed for. No. Oh, but hold on. I ain't finished yet. The shit that was in there, it wasn't fucking fire rated. They had a lighted rail that the motherfucker bought from Camping World. None of this shit was fire rated. You know, wouldn't you think that one of the things you worry about on a sub is fucking fire? Another quote from Stockton Rush. Safety is relative.
Safety third.
Let's just let that sink in for a minute. And then we get to the passengers. Or they call them mission specialists. I need to have a fucking drink. Mission specialists. Goddamn tourists. Now, the one cat who was the explorer and knows about subs.
Peter Nargelet is a Titanic historian and explorer. I believe, don't quote me on this, and I'll put it on screen if I'm wrong. I believe he was one of the scientists in the original Robert Ballard expedition. I'm not sure on that, but he has been said to be more familiar with the Titanic than the captain of the Titanic.
That's
how much time he spent down on the wreck.
So he
which
gets to go
he
down
should
there?
have known better than to get on this fucking inner tube with ballast.
So the good news is that he's down there now. He can
Propane
tell
tank.
the captain hello.
Jesus fucking
What, he couldn't find a high building to jump off of? Jesus Christ, I'd rather jump into a kiddie pool full of fucking fentanyl than get
Relax.
onto this motherfucker.
breathe.
No, waste makes me angry. Stupidity makes me angry. And this is stupid. And then you get the fucking virtual signaling idiots who sit there and start crying about all the fucking memes going up saying, oh, well, you're just being mean to the rich. And these people were explorers trying to do something that was never done before. Fuck you. The guys on Apollo 1 were explorers trying to advance humanity and burn to death on the launch pad. Chafee, Grissom, and White. Those are fucking heroes and explorers. Do not equate them in the same window as these ignorant motherfuckers who decided to pay $250,000 a head. I just want to picture this. Your wire transfer goes through to Rush. I'm excited about being on the Titanic. Oh, yeah, we went through a gang of fucking training on this, and now you're a mission specialist. You walk onto the dock, you see this fucking sub. There's hardly anything in it but a monitor, a toilet, and then you see this fucking Xbox controller. What are you thinking? Oh, how cool. We can play Xbox on the way down. No, this controls the motherfucking sub. And you're not thinking to yourself, oh, hell no. Now, the two cats in Las Vegas credit, because the father and son, the original father and son, did not take the trip, because the son, who was 19 years old, as well as the poor ill-fated son of a bitch, he sat there and started asking questions, and Rush couldn't answer them. He's like, hey, I've got some concerns, and Rush brushed them off. Speaking of Rush, 2018.
There's more?
Oh, yeah, 2018.
He was looking at this stuff all weekend.
2018, one of his engineers said, hey, man, and I'm paraphrasing, but this is about right. Hey, man, I got some concerns. This is a problem. This design might be slightly flawed, and it might be a problem. Fucking Rush says, hey, me and Guillermo, his partner, we've explored this, and we're just trying to disrupt the industry, and they're just trying to keep us down, and I consider what you said is an insult, and you're fired.
It disrupted the shit out of the industry, didn't they? Hey, I just want to point out, no blacks, no Mexicans, no rednecks. I mean, you can say what you want. We was all smart enough to go. Not to mention that we're poor. I wouldn't spend $250 to go to the bottom of my pool in something that looked like a Honda Civic.
You know what that taught me? I'm too poor to die. Maybe I should feel good about that. I'm just too poor to fucking die. And for those of you who think I'm being mean and don't know what I'm talking about, let me just tell you a story. And I told this in Meridian. What if? Now, most people, well, not most people, but some people know that I'm looking for work now. I was a project manager in telecom. Well, tell you what, if I woke up tomorrow morning and said, you know what? I am venturing out. I am now an aeronautical engineer. And I am going to create a flying suit disrupting the airline industry. So let me tell you about my design. Hey guys, you remember those airplanes that you bought at the store, the balsa wood that you threw and it flew, it glided, you know, all that happy shit?
With or without the rubber band propeller?
Without. Because we want you to glide down. You know, propulsion comes later. I know my limits. So I'm going to design a suit made of that balsa wood and trash bags. I don't want to go hefty. I'm going to go Kirkland, you know, just to knock the expense down a little bit. Does anyone have any questions? If you do, fuck you, you're a racist. I don't listen to 50-year-old white men who have experience in aeronautical engineering and flight for over what? We've learned so much over what, 100 years? But no, fuck you. You know, I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna disrupt the industry. But then I'm gonna go one better. I'm gonna build 4 more of them motherfuckers. And then for $100,000, you too can fly with me. We'll be like a flock of geese. Find the highest point we can find, and we jump at the same time. Now, obviously, because gravity works at 9.8 meters per second, I'm going to fall to the ground depending on how high I am, and plopping me a red and black stain on the fucking deck. I'm sure my mother will be sad. A couple other people will be sad. I can see my father going,
Dumbass.
what was Scotty thinking?
I'll share a post on Facebook with like 5 hearts and a prayer hands.
But if you guys at the very least at my funeral don't start the eulogy like,
This dumb motherfucker.
I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. I would expect to be memed.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
As I said when we were in Meridian, you know, we've had wingsuits out for 20 years now.
No, but I'm disrupting the industry.
Ah,
Fuck you. Why are you questioning me, you racist? I don't listen to 50-year-old white men with experience.
I ain't 50.
You first.
I'll tell you what. You build your suit. You jump. If it works, I'll buy one and jump with you.
Yeah,
Jump
you and
after
your Wonder Woman pajamas get that 300-pound ass of yours off the ground. We will have another conversation, sir. But until then, you can kiss my furry white ass. This whole thing, it's sad. I mean, you feel bad for the people. You know, you don't want to see
Scott
anybody
doesn't.
get
Look
killed.
at Scott. He doesn't give a shit.
But, dude, the
I feel-
quality of the memes for this event
have been
just surpassed.
spectacular.
Just surpassed what is normally associated with adult humor.
I'm sorry. Call it gallows humor,
now-
but I'm sorry. I've laughed my ass off.
If we had memes in 1912, you know people would have been making Titanic memes.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
You
But-
know it.
You know, right now, Titanic 2, rich people 0. I mean, that's pretty funny. I don't give a shit who you are.
Can we also go back to something that because we actually had a conversation in Meridian about the memes themselves and about people getting on there going, "This is cruel. You shouldn't be doing this." This goes to something you said about 10 to 15 episodes ago, Larry. Comedy as a whole is dead.
Oh yeah, no,
Everybody is too overly sensitive.
Yep. No, we've come so far around the circle now that it's just everything is offensive to somebody.
Sure it
And
is.
it's like, you got to be shitting me, man. Like to Scott's point, if you're going to go 2.5 miles underwater, in a Honda Civic, I mean, you deserve whatever happens.
I can't help you.
I mean, hey, it's your choice. God bless.
Yeah.
Pony up the 250,000. My happy ass going to be watching you on CNN and go, there's a debris field on the top of the water. No shit, huh?
And it was so fucking stupid the way the media portrayed it because James Cameron, who had experience in this shit, he said when he heard it,
And has actually been to the bottom.
yeah, been to the bottom and probably something better than a fucking cardboard box.
well, if you remember, it
James
was-
Cameron is the perfect anti-example to this story because he's a rich asshole, but he took the time to learn, to research, he had an interest after filming Titanic. He got interested in deep ocean exploring, and he went to people who knew what the fuck they were doing and financed them and said, "I want to help you do this more."
Ding,
That's
ding,
the
ding,
way
ding,
you do
ding.
it.
Exactly.
If you're gonna be a rich asshole, do it intelligently.
Well, let's also go back to Bob Ballard, the one who discovered the wreck with Alvin. Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute spent, and again, I could be wrong. You might put some more other different information on the screen, but they spent a good amount of years, at least 10, developing Alvin to go down to the wreck. Not building it out of parts that you can get from Home Depot and a propane tank.
Now, I will say this. This vessel, and I am using that term very loosely.
Indeed.
The fact, and this goes to something that me and my buddies were talking about this, and I've thought this for a while with another tourist spot, if you will, which the Titanic shouldn't be a tourist destination.
No, I agree with you.
The fact that this dude was able to build a submersible, again, loosely, that made it down there a couple times. The fact that he could do that, regardless of how sketchy it was, is in and of itself kind of amazing. Like, not in a necessarily good way, but this goes to what my friends and I were talking about. I drew the parallel to Mount Everest. The barrier to entry for some of these places that humans shouldn't be has become too low. It is too easy for someone with enough time, money, and energy, but not enough experience, to go to Everest, to go to Kilimanjaro, to go to the bottom of the ocean, apparently.
Hell, look at Whitney.
And it's borderline annoying and kind of sad in a way. Because it's like, you can go, but should you?
Well, here's the thing, though.
Just because you can afford to go to, because they pulled 2 people off Everest a month ago.
Yeah, I read that story.
Because they got there and went, oh fuck, this is the tall. Oh shit, it's actually hard. Yeah, dumbass. Just because you can buy the oxygen tank and the Sherpa doesn't mean you should go.
Oh, you need more than that. Yeah, you need medication to keep you from drowning in your own fucking fluids.
Yeah, I think in a way I'm impressed on a human level. Like, damn, we really do be doing crazy shit. But on another hand, it's like, you don't need to be there. Well, half of you people climbing Everest probably don't need to be there. You and your 4 passengers don't need to be diving to the Titanic as a recreational group. Let the researchers do that. We are not there. I'd be happier to see space flight tourism before I see bottom of the ocean shipwreck tourism. Like, no, we're not there yet, people.
Well, the problem is, it's like, okay, you want to do that rock on and you have a vision. And I want people to understand, in that rant that I just gave, I'm not anti-explorer, anti-doing something that, the human race hasn't done before. That's how we advance. However, it has to be done with some intelligence. Mm-hmm. I mean, if Ocean's Gate happened, let's say, 70 years ago, yes, it would be a tragedy because we don't know any better, but someone had the guts to say, I don't know if this will work, but I got the balls to figure it out, and I'm going to figure out how it works. But it's the 21st fucking century. We have the science and we have the math. We can figure things out. And this isn't even going beyond our understanding of math and physics. This is like fucking freshman year physics we're talking about, and the whole idea of water pressure, depth, carbon fiber material, and all this shit, and basic stuff, and be a basic submariner. I mean, the fact that it wasn't certified by any oceanic body should probably ring a few alarm bells. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you're I want to disrupt the industry, whatever the fuck that means.
One of the people I saw respond to this is this gentleman I follow on YouTube named Scott Manley. He is an aerospace engineer and does a lot of videos about SpaceX. He'll cover the rocket launches, but a lot of that same math and science intermingles with deep ocean science and how physics works. And he explained, people were asking him in his live stream, like, oh, can they recover the bodies? Oh, what if they just plug the leak? And he had to stop and be like, do you understand when you're that deep down how much weight is pushing on you? And the way he explained it is so succinct and perfect. You go from biology to physics like that. There's no margin for error. You're either fine or you're not. And he was boggled by how many people couldn't comprehend, like, no. You get past a certain point, and it's not that deep. It's like 500 feet. Below 500 feet, you're fucked no matter what happens. Mm-hmm. And people couldn't wrap their head around that. Well, and that's just...
Well, let's also look at we as a planet have been dealing with submarines for about 100 years now. Mm-hmm. They were in their infancy during World War I. They made their real jump into World War II. Unless the vessel is specifically designed to go that deep, none of our submarines, I don't think anywhere in the world, our military versions are able to go
1,000 feet.
2.5 miles.
1,000 feet.
More than that. I think crush depth on a Los Angeles class or a
operational depth of 1,000, crush depth of about 1,300. It's not that deep.
I thought it was 18.
Really is not that deep.
Yeah, I know it's not that deep. I was thinking it was 18. I was going to say.
You could probably take the submarine to 18. I wouldn't want to be on the submarine in 18. It's going to be creaking and shit.
Yeah. And then there's an example. If you guys have never seen this movie, one, it is a hilariously good movie to watch.
Hilariously good?
But
okay.
It is.
Do tell.
But it is also, there is a scene in that movie that is meant to be comedic, but it's not. It's actual truth. Watch Think Down Periscope
Down
with Kelsey
Periscope,
Grammer.
yep.
Remember the scene where they tie the string across the bulkheads in the submarine in the engine bay, and as they go down, the string is tight at the surface, and it slacks.
because the water is physically making the submarine, pushing the submarine smaller.
So that's a factor that is, as you said earlier, math that we know and we understand. So why wasn't it done? Now, that being said, I'm also going to say this, and I think I speak for Scott as well. I'm not completely fucking heartless. Yes, people died. I get it. And I do feel bad. But the arrogance that went along with that angers me. You know, it's just awful. And I don't know what to, I don't, you know,
Those
other
people
than
didn't
laughing.
have to die.
No.
Nope.
And other than laughing my ass off at all the memes, which were really good, by the way. I mean, hell, there were to the points where I couldn't breathe when we were sharing these memes back
Yeah.
and forth. But it still is sad that they died. And I don't really know how to quantify this, to be honest with you, because it's one of those where it's sitting like, I don't know where to go with this. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents. So, can we circle back to cigars for a few minutes and talk about where
No.
we're at with our cigars?
I don't think we can.
No, I think,
Hold on.
I think
Larry?
we're gonna, for our next episode, we are going to make an electric chair for frogs out of an HO train transformer and erector
Jesus.
set. No?
You know, we could do that, you know.
I'd rather we didn't.
Cigars.
So
I'm
for the
about
two people smoking cigars that are not ones that have been on the show before.
Okay, this hasn't been on the show before. I love this Connecticut. Again, it's an Island Jim product, which is made by Oscar. Haven't had anything out of Oscar's line that was not a good cigar. Not really even anything out of his line that wasn't in my wheelhouse. Very, very well constructed. Very good flavor. If you haven't tried one of these in anything across his line, wherever you're at in your cigar journey, wherever your palate's sitting right now, there is something in Oscar's line that would appeal to you. If you like smoking the lighter cigars, the Connecticut cigars, then I suggest picking up one of these Island Jim Connecticut's and giving it a try. You will not be disappointed.
Oh, my turn.
How about the Master of Time?
It's been really consistent. It's kept that really subtle pepper all the way through, and like I said, I've said it before. I'm not big on naming specific flavors. I go for more like broad, what does it remind me of type things. Dry autumn leaves is what I'm getting, if that makes any sense. And again, I know that might be kind of a dumb thing to say out of a product that's made of leaves, but a little peppery and a little bit of that like kind of dry vegetal autumn leaf smell. It's simple, but it's done really well, and I like it when a cigar stays consistent. I don't like when I get like 5 different cigars in one cigar. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like if I'm like, I don't know how to word it, but
Well-
I'd rather have a nice flavor that stays that same nice flavor with maybe a little bit of an evolution. I don't like where it's like the first third will taste like this, but then all of a sudden it'll become this, and then the last third will be this, but then the very end will be this. It's like, I just want one nice thing.
Well,
Just-
I think you get that consistency out of having everything from the same country of origin. So if you got binder, filler, wrapper, all, be it Nicaraguan, Dominican, Honduran, whatever, I think you're going to get more of that consistency throughout the cigar. Now, that doesn't mean that combining different leaves from different parts of the world, you won't get that consistency. I just think you're more apt to with 100% Dominican or 100% Nicaraguan or whatever. I look forward to. I haven't smoked one of those. I've only had one out of that line at all, and that's been quite a while back. So
I'll bring you one when I go back again.
okay, yeah, I look forward to that. Scotty, how we doing there?
Excuse me there.
Submarine in your throat.
All I gotta say is Padron, you know what it is. I mean, fantastic smoke all the way through. It's what you'd expect from a Padron. The price point's up there, but it's worth it. If you are gonna go Padron, I would recommend the Damaso. It is a box pressed, but it's a fantastic smoke. If you can get your mitts on a 1964 Anniversario, most cigar places, brick and mortars, thank you, have them. So grab one and enjoy if you haven't already.
Yep. And, you know, the apostate line, you've heard it. We talk about it every time we smoke it. If your local brick and mortar doesn't have it, you better get it. And looking forward to the two new releases from them at this year's PCA. So I'll have to get a hold of Brandon and have him, you know, send us a couple.
Groovy. All right. So
anything more from Rant Street there, Mr. Robbins?
I'm good. This will probably be my last show.
It's been fun.
Big submersibles coming for you.
Is it big submarine or big submersible?
Good choice.
This is something I learned during this whole debacle. A submarine is a completely independent vessel. A submersible relies on a surface platform.
Ba-dum-bum-tsh.
Your gorilla fact of the day.
Ah.
Okay.
Okay.
What can I say? Well, for what probably will be the last time, Gorilla, take me home.
Under pressure.
That's going to be my favorite part of editing this is what song am I going to put under Scott's rant? There's so many good choices.
Oh, dear God.
Under the sea.
What have I done? Well, hey, the cigar is getting close to the nub, and my cup is empty, and my beer bottle's empty too, so I think it's about that time. I want to thank everybody out there for listening. On behalf of myself, Greg, Larry, and the Gorilla, keep listening some more. Check us out at LumaCigarCartel.com. Like and share us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Don't be a stranger. Drop us a line and let us know you're out there. I'm Scott Robinson, and on behalf of all of us here at Beyond the Humidor, we look forward to chatting with you on the next episode. But until then, stay above water, healthy and safe, a good drink, good smoke, and good life. I had to get one more in there. Fuck them if they can't take a joke. Oh, the internet is broke.